Random House Audio presents Mom and Me and Mom by Maya Angelou. And I am Maya Angelou. I have particular thanks to Vivian Baxter, who generously taught me how to be a mother, allowing me to dedicate this book to one of the most courageous and generous men I know, my son, Guy Bailey Johnson. Prologue. Frequently, I have been asked how I got to be this way. How did I, born black in a white country, poor in a society where wealth is adored and sought after at all costs, female in an environment where only large ships and some engines are described favorably by using the female pronoun, how did I get to be Maya Angelou? Many times I have wanted to quote Topsy, the young black girl in Uncle Tom's Cabin. I have been tempted to say, I don't know, I just growed. I never used that response for a number of reasons. First, because I read the book in my early teens, and the ignorant black girl embarrassed me. Second, I knew that I had become the woman I am because of the grandmother I loved and the mother I came to adore. Their love informed, educated, and liberated me. I lived with my paternal grandmother from the time I was 3 years old until I was 13. My grandmother never kissed me during those years. However, when she had company, she would summon me to stand in front of her visitors. Then she would stroke my arms, asking, "Have you ever seen arms more beautiful, straight as a plank, and brown as peanut butter?" Or she would give me a tablet and a pencil. She would call out numbers to me in front of her company. "All right, sister, put down 242, then 380, then 174, then 419. Now add that." She would speak to her visitors. "Now watch. Her Uncle Willie has timed her. She can finish that in 2 minutes. Just wait." When I told her the answer, she would beam with pride. "See, my little professor." Love heals and liberates. I use the word love not meaning sentimentality, but a condition so strong that it may be that which holds the stars in their heavenly positions, and that which causes the blood to flow orderly in our veins. This book has been written to examine some of the ways love heals and helps a person to climb impossible heights and rise from immeasurable depths. Mom and Me, Chapter 1. The first decade of the 20th century was not a great time to be born black and poor and female in St. Louis, Missouri. But Vivian Baxter was born black and poor to black and poor parents. Later, she would grow up and be called beautiful. As a grown woman, she would be known as the butter-colored lady with the blowback hair. Her father, a Trinidadian with a heavy Caribbean accent, had jumped from a banana boat in Tampa, Florida, and evaded immigration agents successfully all his life. He spoke often and loudly with pride at being an American citizen. No one explained to him that simply wanting to be a citizen was not enough to make him one. Contrasting with her father's dark chocolate complexion, her mother was light-colored enough to pass for white. She was called an octoroon, meaning that she had 1/8 Negro blood. Her hair was long and straight. At the kitchen table, she amused her children by twirling her braids like ropes, and then later sitting on them. Although Vivian's mother's people were Irish, she had been raised by German adoptive parents, and she spoke with a decided German accent. Vivian was the firstborn of the Baxter children. Her sister Leah was next, followed by brothers Tootie, Cladwell, Tommy, and Billy. As they grew, their father made violence a part of their inheritance. He said often, "If you get in jail for theft or burglary, I will let you rot. But if you are charged with fighting, I will sell your mother to get your bail." The family became known as the Bad Baxters. If someone angered any of them, they would track the offender to his street or to his saloon. The brothers, armed, would enter the bar. They would station themselves at the door, at the ends of the bar, and at the toilets. Uncle Cladwell would grab a wooden chair and break it, handing Vivian a piece of the chair. He would say, "Vivian, go kick that bastard's ass." Vivian would ask, "Which one?" Then she would take the wooden weapon and use it to beat the offender. When her brothers said, "That's enough," the Baxter gang would gather their violence and quit the scene, leaving their mean reputation in the air. At home, they told their fighting stories often and with great relish. Grandmother Baxter played piano in the Baptist church, and she liked to hear her children sing spiritual gospel songs. She would fill a cooler with Budweiser and stack bricks of ice cream in the refrigerator. The same rough Baxter men, led by their fierce older sister, would harmonize in the kitchen on "Jesus Keep Me Near the Cross." There a precious fountain, free to all a healing stream, flows from Calvary's mountain. The Baxters were proud of their ability to sing. Uncle Tommy and Uncle Tootie had bass voices. Uncle Cladwell, Uncle Ira, and Uncle Billy were tenors. Vivian sang alto, and Aunt Liz sang a high soprano. The family said she had a sweet tremolo. Many years later, I heard them often when my father, Bailey Johnson Sr., took me and my brother, called Junior, to stay with the Baxters in St. Louis. They were proud to be loud and on key. Neighbors often dropped in and joined the song fest, each trying to sing loudest. Vivian's father always wanted to hear about the rough games his sons played. He would listen eagerly, but if their games ended without a fight, or at least a scuffle, he would blow air through his teeth and say, "Psst, that's little boys' play. Don't waste my time with silly tales." Then he would tell Vivian, "Bibby, these boys are too big to play little girls' games. Don't let them grow up to be women." Vivian took his instructions seriously. She promised her father she would make sure they were tough. She led her brothers to the local park and made them watch as she climbed the highest tree. She picked fights with the toughest boys in her neighborhood, never asking her brothers to help, counting on them to wade into the fight without being asked. Her father chastised her when she called her sister a sissy. He said, "She's just a girl. But you're more than that. Baby, you're Papa's little girl boy. You won't have to be tough forever. When Cladwell gets up some size, he will take over." Vivian said, "If I let him." Everyone laughed and recounted the escapades about when Vivian taught them how to be tough. Chapter 2. My mother, who was to remain a startling beauty, met my father, a handsome soldier, in 1924. Bailey Johnson had returned from World War I with officer's honors and a fake French accent. They were unable to restrain themselves.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?